There's a few video games out there that bring me to my knees with crushing difficulty, yet I keep coming back to play them time and time again because they're so much fun. Games like Einhander, Ikaruga, Gradius 5, and this one, the grandfather of them all, Robotron 2084. Designed by the legendary Eugene Jarvis in the early 1980s, this game is a true arcade classic and remains one of the best video games ever made. It seems to me that this could be the most ingenious arcade game ever made, because the whole point of an arcade game was to collect quarters from people going to video game arcades in the early 1980s, before we had all the great home video game systems that we're used to today. Now, the average person would just get wiped off the Robotron 2084 machine in a matter of seconds, yet they'd probably come back for more because this game is so much fun. I'm not terribly good at this game, but I'm always trying to get better. And this version of Robotron 2084 on the Xbox Live Arcade is just tremendous. It looks great, it sounds great. The only real difference between this and the arcade version is the arcade sticks on the arcade machine are much better. The gameplay is pretty simple. You use your left hand to control the guy and the right hand to fire. On the Xbox controller, you use the left thumbstick to move and the right thumbstick to fire. The objective of the game is to save all the humans while killing off all the evil robots and other things that they throw at you. Robotron 2084 moves so quickly that the best way to actually survive the game is not necessarily by shooting all the enemies, but by collecting the humans as quickly as possible, because you're rewarded with increasing amounts of points for each human you get, and you get extra lives for every 25,000 points. For the first human you save, you get 1,000 points, then 2,000, and so on up to 5,000 points for the fifth human, and more. So if you collect 5, 6, or 7 or more humans, you're getting an awful lot of points, and you're getting more extra men. And the big green hulking droids can't be destroyed. They just walk around and kill the humans. You could call this Robotron 2084 weak here on Classic Game Room HD. We'll be looking at numerous versions of this game. Here we see the Xbox Live Arcade version, but I've also got the PlayStation version, the Atari 7800 version, and the very clever Nintendo 64 version of Robotron 64, which we reviewed years ago in the original Classic Game Room series, but I'm going to have to revisit that one. If you like fast-paced, difficult video games, if you have a grudge against robots or giant brain-like things, and if we look at the fact that the world is sinking into an abysmal pit of oblivion, then there's a good chance that the year 2084 will look like this, and that if you're good at Robotron 2084, you may have a better chance of surviving until the year 2085, when everything will suddenly get a lot better and we'll all be living in the land of make-believe with My Little Ponies and Snorks. I can't think of any video game that has better sound effects than Robotron 2084. This game doesn't have a catchy theme like Ms. Pac-Man does, but when you think of 1982 arcade sound effects, this is the benchmark standard. I'd like to make my cell phone ringer sound like the opening sound at the beginning of each wave. It's such a pleasant sound because you know you've just made it one wave further, therefore you've made progress in the game and you're just that much closer to being incinerated by the enclosing mass of evil robots. And that's something that should make you feel good. Seriously, this game is tremendous. It's easy to find. It's on pretty much every game platform imaginable. Play the demo on Xbox Live if you don't want to pay the money for it. It's just terrific. And since we know that the year 2084 looks like this, the year 2085 will be happy with rainbows and flowers, the year 2086 could possibly be a real mess. Therefore, we could use the sequel to this game called Robotron 2086. This time, humanity is really fucked. And in that game, you play the guy in the middle who gets swarmed by angry robots, but instead of having a laser gun to shoot them, you have to take them all out with a stick of butter and a fork.